Hi, welcome back to this tutorial series on how to use the UIL Digital Tab Room. This video is going to cover something that you don't really have to use, but I like to use, and that is the dashboard. So the dashboard kind of gives you a high-level overview of everything that's going on, which can look a little bit overwhelming, but let's just get right into it. To get to it, you can click on Dashboard here under Meet Operations, or over here in the menu, you can do the same thing. And the dashboard kind of pulls together a lot of information and statistics and shows you the status of what's happening at your meet. So this big pie chart, we all love pie charts, basically shows you your progress. So here I've got 6.1% of all the results that I'm supposed to get are valid and have been published. 9% of them are invalid, which I did on purpose so I can show you some examples of some invalid data. 9.1% of that is invalid. And then 85% of it I have not even started. So that's fun. I might also change the color scheme of this to match your blue aesthetic that's over here. So that's this. And that's just going to reflect percentages the whole time. Then over here we have a list of all the different events and their current status, and also their time. They are not sorted by time, they are sorted by alphabet, or alphabetized by name. There we go, that's the words I was looking for. And it'll let you pull up all of their information and see all of their results. So for example, I might want to take a look at the calculator app's results here because it says I have invalid results. So that's fun. So I go open that, I look at the invalid results. It says what type of invalidity it has. It says I'm missing information. So I know that that's what I'm going to need to fix. It's got all of this information here. If I needed to change anything like grading or room numbers, I could do that right here, which is nicer than having to go back to our huge spreadsheet. And then I can also see all of these results. And I can actually edit individual results if I click on them. It's not quite as easy as if you do the results entry, but you can do it right here in the dashboard. You could also click on results entry and it's going to take you to the results entry page where you can find that event and work on it here as discussed in a previous video. So we're going to go back to our dashboard over here. So it'll highlight for you what results are invalid. It'll also show you which ones are valid and have been published, which ones are not even started. So you can find those here and just kind of get an update on all your information. You can also see which ones have scans, need scans if you're doing scans. I like to have scans of the originals. If you don't care about scans of the originals, you can just ignore that whole bit. But if you scroll down, this is where we have a lot of interesting stuff. So here we have things to resolve. These are issues that are currently happening at your meet. Hopefully this is not here. Hopefully there's a big sign that says nothing is listed here. There are no records that match this, meaning you have no invalid results. But it's quite possible that you do because we all make mistakes. So here I have a list of invalid results and I can see them. You can see in original oratory, we have an unexpected event point total, meaning the points awarded does not match what it's supposed to be. So we need to go take a look at that. In current events, it says we have a classification crossover. That means there is a large school event that is listed in small school results, or large school that's listed in small school results, or vice versa. In calculator apps, we're missing some information. So all of those things need to be fixed. Now we could do that right here. Or we can't do that right here in line. Sorry, we have to open them and then we can do them right here. And it's going to tell you exactly what is happening. So there's this little informational text. It says type of invalidity, missing information. It says fill in the missing information. And here we go. We can fill in that Donald Duck went to whatever school Donald Duck went to, and it's going to fix it. Or instead of just opening that and dealing with whatever it says, we can go to the invalid data page. But I do want to pause here and look at this set again. This section is going to show, or this little pullout, it's going to show you all the different types of invalidity and how to fix them. So for example, if it says classification crossover, it says what that means, and it gives you a way to fix it. Okay, so for example, here on original oratory, it says unexpected event point total. So I go down here, and it says open the linked event below to resolve the issue. So it's original oratory that's the offending event. So I open original oratory, and then we find the issue. So what's happening here is that in our combined results, we only have 4 people. And that's because when I made these results, we only had 4 people registered in original oratory. We didn't have 6, so we gave away less points than we were supposed to. And if that's the case, we can use the points override. So we actually gave 45 points away, and we expected 55, but I'm saying we're going to override that. We're going to expect 45 because that's the number that we were supposed to do. So I fill in 45 there, and it completely fixes that, which is really nice. And those ones disappear from our invalid results. Our next one in invalid results is Donald Duck has a classification crossover. Okay, so open that and go down to classification crossover. What does that mean? It means there's a mismatch between school's classification and the awards classification. So I gave somebody in a large school, a small school award, which is not good. Okay, so the way that I can fix that is to change the school's classification, or if their classification is correct and they're listed on the wrong side, you need to go contact the director. But more often than not is because you've misclassified it in the registration. So you can go here to their classification, you can change what their classification is right here. What that actually means is that this should not say Pine Tree High School. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go change the school. We're going to change that to Hallsville High School. And then it is gone. Okay, and then we can also look at ones with missing information. So for missing information, we just need to fill in whatever we're missing. So Donald Duck, we said went to Hallsville High School. There he goes, and we've taken care of all of our invalid results. So all invalid results are going to show here. You can either go directly to the event to deal with them, or you can deal with them in this little menu that gives you kind of some options and lets you read about what all those validation things mean. Or you can go to this invalid data page, which will have a list of all of the invalid data. Right now, I've just fixed all of it, so it's not there. But say, for example, sorry, I got to go all the way back. I'm going to see if it'll let me undo any of these things. Nope, it won't. Okay, so if we had a bunch of invalid data, I could go to that page to handle it there instead. But it just kind of lets you see what things need to be fixed. Hopefully there's nothing that needs to be fixed because you're perfect. But if there is, it'll show up right here. Then we also have issues submitted via contact form. On your public-facing website, there is a contact form that will show up here with responses for things that need to be fixed. You should also receive an email about those things, but you may not be checking your email constantly. I will also receive an email about those things, so I might go take a look at it myself. But I submitted this form a couple of minutes ago, and it shows up here as a contact form, and you're going to see right here all of the different information. So it shows my name, shows I'm from Hallsville High School, shows that the event I'm finding an issue with is Lit Crit. I love Lit Crit. It was my main event in high school. And then my comment is there's a misspelled name. So maybe you type somebody's name wrong and they want you to fix it. They're going to put a comment there as to whatever the problem is. They're going to list a phone number. That way, if you need clarification, you can call them. They're going to list an email. That way they get sent an email of their responses, and also you can email them if you need to. And then it's also going to show you what time that this was submitted. And then you can handle whatever it is, and if you fixed it, you hit mark as resolved, and then it's there. These are still going to show up just so you can see what there is going on or what you've already worked on, but all contact form things will show up there. I think every meet I have ever run, there has been at least one time the form gets filled out. Usually not more than one, but there's usually one issue somewhere that someone wants to address. Looking at you, Chris Dixon. So then we have this other part for missing scans. And here shows up a list of events that you have completed and published, but do not have scans of their results. Now, if you don't care about getting scans of the originals, totally fine, just completely ignore this section. I care a lot about having scans of the originals. That way, if somebody says your information that you put is wrong, I can say, here it is in the original handwriting of the contest director, take it up with them. So I like having those scans just kind of as a CYA, but if you don't care, totally fine. You can just ignore that section, but there'll be a missing scans page that you can link all of those scans on kind of en masse, which is nice. So that's all the stuff that you can do on the dashboard. You can see how far along you are. You can see what's going on with all of the events. Either they're not started, they're invalid, they're published, they're unpublished. Like I can see original oratory here is valid and it's not published, which means nobody can see it on the website. So I got to open it and I can publish it. Now it's all good to go. Let's see. That one's valid and unpublished. Publish it. There we go. So now I'm 15% published, which is great. That's what we want, more published stuff. But yeah, so you can see all your event statuses there. You can see if there's any invalid results that you need to handle. You can see if anybody's contacted you about fixing something. And then you can also see if you need to go put in some scans for some results. So this is kind of where I like to live when I'm running a meet and I'm not putting in results. It just lets me see everything, and then I go to results entry whenever I get results in. But anyway, that's the dashboard. I know it's a little bit hectic, but it might help you out during your meet. Anyway, see you next time.